Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Leigh Fuge, and in this video today we're going to look at these two pedals from the guys at Surfy Industries. We've got the Surfyvibe and the Surfytrem. Surfy Industries, for anyone who's unaware of the brand, are a European-based brand based between Italy and Sweden. All of the pedals in the range are surf-themed, and they all take their sort of characteristics from classic surf guitar tones. All of the pedals are designed and built in Sweden. So before we dig into what these things are and what they sound like, I do have to say that I am getting paid for this video by Surfy Industries, and they've also provided me with a reverb unit that I use in other videos as well. So both of these pedals are inspired by the vibrato effects built into two legendary surf amps. So the Surfyvibe is based off the Magnatone 280, and then the Surfytrem comes from a Fender Showman from the early 60s. This also has a Blackface mod as well, so it kind of brings it more from the early 60s into the mid 60s thing if you want a cleaner sound. So we'll start with the Surfyvibe. This is, like I said, based off the mono channel of the Magnatone 280. So on top of the pedal, we've just got two simple controls. We've got intensity and speed. Pretty self-explanatory. The speed is the speed of the modulation effect, and the intensity is the intensity. This also has a switch at the top which is labeled sweeping and vibrato. So if you have this on the vibrato side, you get that classic Magnatone 280 vibrato sound, and the sweeping side is sort of like a modified take on that. It adds another feedback path, and it kind of gives you this different modulated texture. It's sort of like a cross between a chorus, a phaser, and a tremolo. It's a bit more intense and a bit more swirly than the standard vibrato mode. The guys at Surfy Industries were very keen on building this to be as close to the classic sound as possible. So what they've done is they've taken the old tube circuit, which was obviously part of the original sound, the tube-driven vibrato, and they've replaced the tubes with JFET transistors, because obviously you're not going to get many tubes in a pedal this size. But the JFET transistors will still give you that sort of rich harmonic vibrato sound. And this is also not true bypass, and that's an intentional design. If you were using one of the vintage amps, they're not going to be super hi-fi sounding, so they've intentionally not put true bypass in this pedal to really kind of capture that old school sound. So that does mean when you turn this thing on, it is going to shave the top end off your guitar signal just a little bit. But if you want those classic surf tones, that's part of the package you're going to be looking for anyway. And on the other hand, we have the Surfytrem. Now, this is a tremolo unit, kind of, but it's also classed as vibrato because this is based off the vibrato channel on the classic Fender Brownface Showman amps from the early 60s. So this has the same layout. It has a speed and an intensity control, but then we have a switch to go between the Brownface and the Blackface sides. So in the Brownface side, you get that Brownface amp vibrato channel. This was the second channel of those early Showman amps. It's sort of like a harmonic tremolo, so while it is sort of doing a tremolo effect, there's definitely a little bit of pitch movement there. For all surf guitarists, this is kind of considered the holy grail of vibrato slash tremolo style tones. It works with the signal moving through a harmonic wave, which basically attenuates the lows and the highs. It's not too dissimilar to a Leslie speaker, so if you wanted a sort of fake Leslie sound, you could use this pedal to sort of get you in that ballpark as well. If you want a cleaner, more obvious tremolo sound, flip the switch to the Blackface side. What this is going to do is it's going to be more clean and more open, but also you're going to get more of that audible on and off style sound that you associate with a tremolo. It's not going to be as harmonically rich. It's going to be more of a choppy style tremolo. And just like the Surfyvibe, this one is also not true bypass. In sticking with that vintage sort of tonal aesthetic, they've intentionally not put true bypass into this pedal, so it is going to affect your tone slightly. But that's okay, because if you're really chasing those classic surf tones, or you're just not too precious about the idea of true bypass, that's not really going to bother you too much. All right, so let's get these things plugged in and see what they sound like. So I'm going to start with the Surfyvibe, and then we'll switch to the Surfytrem later on in the video. For the video, I'm going to be using my Schecter Diamond Series Nick Johnston guitar. This is plugged into the Blackstar Studio 10 6L6, which is mic'd with a Lewitt Audio LCT 440 condenser mic. In front of that, I have the Surfy Industries Surfy Bear Classic Spring Reverb unit to give me the reverb sounds you're hearing in the video as well. So I'm going to start with the Surfyvibe, everything straight up at midnight. I'm just going to play a bit in the vibrato side and move the controls, the speed and the intensity, so you can hear the range of what this does. So as you can hear, there are a lot of really cool swirly textures there. Now we're going to flip over to the sweeping side. So this is like the modified version of the same circuit. So in this side, we're going to get a bit more of a sort of choral phasing thing going on. So I'm going to reset the pedal to midnight and then just play and move the controls. So the sweeping side definitely gives a different take on that classic Magnatone vibrato sound. You can definitely hear there's more of a phasey tremolo thing going on there. Pretty cool. I think I prefer the slight added warmth of the regular vibrato side, but both are really cool textures. All right, so next up, we're gonna look at the Surfytrem. Now, even though this is obviously called a trem, it's not an out and out tremolo unit. It's technically a harmonic tremolo, which is sort of derived from the vibrato channel of those classic early 60s Fender amps. So we'll start on the Brownface side with the controls set to midnight. I will just play a bit and move those controls so you can hear the Brownface mode. So in that Brownface mode, you really can hear the sort of slight pitch modulation that you'd expect from the vibrato channel of a Fender style amp. It does get very swirly in some of the more extreme settings, which is quite cool. I've always been a big fan of a harmonic tremolo. I think it's a very interesting effect, and it kind of fills the gap quite nicely, I think, between a tremolo and a sort of Leslie style effect. I think it's a really cool medium. So I'm just going to reset this now back to midnight and go to the Blackface side. So in the Blackface side, now we can expect more of a typical tremolo sound. So it's going to be cleaner, it's going to be less sort of compressed and not overdriven, but it's going to have less of that sort of squashed, sort of very warm sound. It's going to be a bit more open, and it's going to be more apparently choppy like a typical tremolo would be. So there you go, there is an overview of the two vibrato slash tremolo units from the guys at Surfy Industry. The Surfyvibe, which is based on that Magnatone 280, and the Surfytrem, which is based off a Brownface or a Blackface Fender, depending on which type of effect you want. So between these two pedals, you've got a lot of different stuff going on. You've got a full-on vibrato from the Magnatone amp with a different sort of modified take on that. Then on the other side, on the Surfytrem, you've got a sort of harmonic tremolo, which is very cool for those early 60s tremolo sounds. It's got a lot of that sort of swirly Leslie type thing going on. And you've also got a sort of more set out tremolo like the Fender Blackface stuff. So a very, very versatile pair of pedals there. I think both sound absolutely great. There's a bunch of cool tones in both of them. If I had to pick one, I do think the harmonic tremolo on the Surfytrem just took it for me. That was probably my favorite out of all the sounds, but they all sound great. But yeah, if I had to pick one, that was the thing that really kind of caught me and thought, okay, I know where we're going here. This is the sort of sound that I'm really interested in. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys think. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys thought of the Surfy Industries Surfytrem and Surfyvibe. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these tones. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. While you're down there letting me know what you think of these pedals in the comments, don't forget to hit the like and hit the subscribe button. And there are also some links to Surfy Industries in the text below. So please go check these guys out. Give them some love. They are making some fantastic, fantastic units. And if you haven't already checked out the other videos I've done for these guys on their spring reverb units and their sort of preamp style pedal, the Blossom Point, please check out the card in the top corner of this video right now. The videos are also on my channel as well, so please check those out. Give these guys some love. They're making some awesome stuff. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you very soon.